Yeah. Sometimes I get so mad, there's no controlling me. My thoughts get so bad, I'm like, I might grab a bat, I don't know. My wrath, my blood boils over like, oh God, here goes. I lost all feeling from my head to my toes. You said some shit that I can't let go, so just stay tuned for the rest of the show. So have you ever felt betrayed? Switches how you see things, realize something needs change. Cause I know you got me fucked up, let me show you what's up. Cause enough is enough. I'll take a face full of pavement just to make a statement. I know there's no turning back. Oh God, adrenaline wasted, so mad I can taste it. I know there's no turning back. I'll do what it takes, I ain't making mistakes like that. I'll play it on your face just to make you go take it.
Hey y'all, good morning. It is morning here. Let's see. Hey Southwest Jeff, thanks for having me in your live last night. I did drop his link down in the chats. Kaz has some gator alarm. It's 4:30 in the morning over there, and it doesn't matter what time of the night or morning it is in Australia. She like wakes up and is here. Um, let's see. Hello, sweet misery. Hey, Jimbo. Hey, Sherry. All right, let's go. So, this video is about Sebastian Rogers. This video is going over Nancy Grace with Sebastian Rogers' parents. However, I do have something to say before. I'm not bashing anybody. Everyone has their own opinion. I woke up to plenty of videos of boots on the ground complaining about United Cajun Navy. I understand that you guys are upset with how they're doing the search, not being organized according to some of them, being rude. I don't know. I'm not there. However, I am here to tell you how the United Cajun Navy helped me and my community personally. Hi, 911 operator. I am from South Louisiana. Everyone knows that. Hurricane Al- Hurricane Alley. Everyone knows 2005 Hurricane Katrina hit. Let me just share this with you real quick. Everyone knows Katrina devastated New Orleans, flooded bad, and I hope you can see this. Hold on. Ah, okay, hold on. So for Hurricane Katrina is how Cajun Navy got started. And I want you to know in 2005, New Orleans lay roof deep in water to where people had to bust open their roofs and go on their roofs to be saved. And many weren't saved. It was a category 3 storm. What flooded New Orleans was a barge hit the levee and it busted and it flooded. Hundreds of civilians and their boats were turned away by police. They didn't want help. Just like y'all are saying Cajun Navy is turning y'all around, the police did that also to them. Some from Acadiana area, to me, Acadiana area is like Lafayette, organized Cajun Navy. They stayed on the course and they saved an estimated 10,000 lives for helping after Hurricane Katrina. Okay, 10,000 lives. This is my area. This is my home. Hold on one second. I know everybody has the right to disagree and agree, and I know a lot of you will disagree with me. I am not talking bad about any YouTuber. Um, I just have my own emotions about what's being said about the Cajun Navy. And because they have helped my community personally, I just wanted to let y'all know that Cajun Navy isn't all that bad. And in 2021, Hurricane Ida hit my city, my town, Terrebonne Parish, Houma, Louisiana. It demolished it. It was a category 4, which was stronger than Katrina. Some, I know close to where I live, some wind gusts went to category 5 strength. Okay. It demolished my area. Demolished. Everything was just messed up. But guess who was there? Guess who was there to help? United Cajun Navy. They do. What's the difference between AWP and the Cajun Navy? Please tell me. Now, this is why I'm upset about this. And this is why I need to let y'all know what Cajun Navy has done to help me. I'm going to play a video right now. And it's about my city, my home, where I grew up.
Series in Louisiana, where residents are bracing for another storm as they struggle to recover from Hurricane Ida. The Cajun Navy has been on the scene helping with the recovery efforts since day one, coming together with search and rescue, cleanup efforts, and feeding communities. ABC's Phil Lipoff is in Destrehan, Louisiana, with more on that. And Phil, you have followed the Cajun Navy as they work to help there, which they do after every storm. Tell us a little bit about what you've seen.
Diane, you're right. They absolutely do after every storm. In fact, we met them for the first time back in Katrina, sort of when the Cajun Navy was born. First, take a look behind me. This is a car crushed by bricks that came off this building in this complex. Another car on the other side, crushed by a tin roof. You'd be hard-pressed to find any street in and around New Orleans and even further out in Louisiana that does not look like this. As you mentioned, we're in Destrehan, about 30 miles west of the city, and about an hour from here in Houma, Louisiana, is the video.
Y'all be sure y'all hear this, right? Houma, Louisiana, my home, where I was born and raised. Y'all want to bash Cajun Navy?
I want to show you right now. This is sort of how the Cajun Navy has expanded 16 years later. We found them in a parking lot of a Home Depot, Office Depot had been crushed. They're in the parking lot giving out water, food, diapers, tools you could go and get to bring home to your house, cut down trees, clean out your house. They've served hundreds of pounds of jambalaya. The line of cars stretches out to the boulevard there, and it has been that way for 2 solid weeks. The question is, how big is the Cajun Navy? Right now, it's more like a social media network. Think about it like this. They have a Facebook page, and anyone who has any kind of problem posts on the Facebook page. They give their...
There's a Walmart to the left of this, Office Depot, Marshalls. And on the other side, there's more shopping centers. This is my home. Even though I'm in Louisiana, this is my home.
Address, and someone from the Cajun Navy shows up. So when we asked, how big is the organization today? The answer is really, it's anyone's guess.
We don't know how big this is any more than Facebook knows how big Facebook is. You know, we're a platform that makes it very easy to respond. In the end, we need a lot of these, a lot of hands and a lot of people with heart that show up.
That was Rob Godet. He is director of the Cajun Navy Foundation and head of the ground force. That was the group out in that parking lot in Houma that we just showed you. And they're, by the way, out there today. He says they need people with 2 hands and an open heart. And just to let you know, some of the people who were in line, actually get their material, come back, and start serving others. That's where he's getting all.
That's what we do back home. We help each other. We rebuild our community.
All of his volunteers from. It's pretty an amazing thing to watch. Diane?
It's amazing what they're able to accomplish with such a grassroots, volunteer-fueled effort. How is that effort going, Phil? How is everyone doing down there?
Oh, Diane, it's a mess, and people are still hurting. Take this complex, for instance. Take a look behind me. This is what a typical street looks like in and around New Orleans, and as you get farther out into Louisiana, look at this. I mean, this is what you're seeing. Everybody has had time now to get the wood and the mattresses and the trash, and you can smell it in the air all the way out to the curb. But the problem is 83% of the people who live in these buildings don't have electricity still. There are still tens of thousands of people without electricity all across Louisiana. And these folks have been told it's just not safe to live here anymore. They have to get out. So when we said a couple of weeks ago it was going to be months, not days, not weeks, we meant it. And authorities say it is going to be that long. Diane.
And Phil, now there's another storm on the way. Nicholas is taking aim at the Gulf.
Okay, so that's just a little bit. Oh yeah, I want to show y'all this because y'all keep calling it a wind boat or something like that. Like they keep saying the wrong thing. It's an airboat. But I just want to show y'all this real quick, and then we're going to get into Nancy, because I just want y'all to know that they're not bad people and they do help a lot.
If anybody's going to be able to work with us, they have to be faster than the standard.
This is not something you take on for fun.
People are screaming for help.
The Cajun Navy, a flotilla of volunteers from Louisiana.
Just regular guys who say they don't wait for help, they are the help.
The concept of civilian-led rescue is a paradigm shift for how rescues are going to be conducted from this point forward.
You see that? They're trained. Like they're not. I just don't get it. I just want to cry. Like y'all don't understand.
Hey, Trey, I'm rolling on the Basin Bridge right now, about to make that exit. The Cajun Navy is like a loose conglomerate of people who came together when their neighbors needed help. Hurricane Katrina is essentially where the Cajun Navy started. Right now, we're headed to the Atchafalaya Basin for tomorrow's search and rescue games. One of the things that gets misconstrued the most is that everybody out there doing Cajun Navy stuff are just a bunch of cowboys from Cajun country, don't know what they're doing. They don't realize that we're training ourselves to be first responders to a FEMA standard at least, which is an internationally accepted standard.
Bam! What they just said. They're not just some people that got together and did this. They're trained.
I'm Leo. Papa Leo is my nickname. I'm one of the older ones in the group. Now that I'm retired, this is my way of giving back, you know. All right, talk to you later. This is training. This is familiarization for the upcoming hurricane season. The bad news is we're hearing 2018 may be a bad year.
The idea for SAR games was kind of organic. Like we needed to find a way to go practice. So we set up a mock rescue scenario with 600 rescues that need to be conducted. We indicated this by taking little flags, and we just tied them off to a tree that's within arm's reach.
Wow, this guy did a good job of hiding right here.
What we're relying on is a lot of tech. So when the boat...
Also, if you would like to donate to the United Cajun Navy, the link is pinned up at the top. If you are able to and you have the means, I ask you to. You don't know the fuel that they use in these boats. It is very expensive, and they have to travel pulling these boats. The gas for the vehicles pulling boats takes more gas.
Boaters arrive, what they have to do is get onto Zello and Glimpse. That's how we're going to talk to them and visually track them real time. Dispatchers, they're going to get all the rescues that need to happen and dispatch from the Zello app that we use. The other thing we're focusing on is Glimpse, so we can see them and they can see us, so we can do real-time tracking. We're exposing everybody to that whole concept and getting people trained and ready for when something happens again.
Yes, they do have a website. It's I have to look it up again. I think it's Cajun the hold on, I'll look it up for you. I am so sorry, y'all. This is just giving me anxiety because y'all see all the stuff that they've done to help my local community where I come from, where I was born and raised. I understand that there's issues with Sebastian Rogers' search. I understand that. But just because there's a problem with one, there were hundreds other that were successful. And, like just because one makes them look bad, please don't sit there and bash them. Here's their Facebook page. I'm just asking not to bash them because I'm showing y'all, I'm trying to show y'all all the good that they've done. I understand that they've made a lot of YouTubers upset. I understand that. And one reason is because they don't want it live streamed. Because if you do happen to walk upon something that should not be shown to thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people, that's why they don't want it live streamed. And I don't blame them. And it's okay if you disagree with me. That's fine. I understand. Everybody has the right to, what's it called? I'm so tired. It's still in the morning time here.
This is our inaugural event. We've never done one of these before, and there's a lot of eyes on us.
It's all about being there for our neighbors, whether it be here in Louisiana or in Texas or wherever it is.
Or Tennessee.
There when they need us.
Each pot of flags is a household, okay? Each flag represents a person in that household.
4 flags per boat, per run. Like, don't fit 4 people in your boat.
Back. Big difference between people and flags. But
Oh, Kaz, I don't know anything about that. I don't know anything about that. I just woke up this morning and saw everybody doing videos on what Dolly said. And I understand that he's upset. I mean, I do support him. I've been supporting him for over a year. I understand, but I just don't agree with what he said after that. But he has his own opinion, his First Amendment. He can say what he wants. But I just want to show y'all the good that they've done. It's not just the bad. I understand that he did travel to get there and spent his money. And, he has the right to be upset. But I just want to show y'all the good that the United Cajun Navy actually does.
But this is still excellent training for how to recover people from that location.
Ladies and gentlemen, at the siren, we're going to go ahead and start the Cajun Navy SAR games. 3, 2, 1.
All right, good luck, y'all.
What is this all about? Civilians can make a difference. They can do something and accomplish amazing things when they work together.
A flag! It's a flag! Oh my god! Oh my god!
So you have 2 F-14 flags, correct?
We're making it up as we go. This hasn't been done before. We're striking out on our own way to find the right way to go about this. People find strengths they never knew they had.
Going straight ahead, guard.
Why does it exist? Because you don't sit around and wait for somebody to come take care of a problem that you have in your front yard. The government's going to do what they do, but we can still do what we do and make a huge difference. The heart of it is that you have to rely on your neighbor.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
2 gold eggs in this match.
How do you make a mark on this world to contribute to society as a whole? To know that I'm a part of something that's going to be a shining example of what Cajun is. That's a driving factor, to see a legacy established by a group of nobodies. Team number 10, Team 10, you are the winner of the grand prize. Thank you all again very much for participating. We all made a lot of progress today, and we all had a good time. Thank you all very much. Good job. All right. Take care.
Oh no, you got to show that. That's my favorite. I cannot go on Facebook Friday for Good Friday. Oh no. They all gonna be eating the boiled crawfish. I miss it so much.
We're not trying to be superhuman. We're just ordinary people. There's people whose lives that we can greatly impact and whose lives we can save. That makes a difference.
It's not just swamp boats. Airboats go in the bayou. They go in lakes. It's not a swamp boat. Exactly, Kaz. A lot of tours are done on airboats. Like when we would go fishing in the lake, there are a lot of airboats. When we would go through the bayou to the lakes, there's airboats. Actually, someone died on an airboat because they freaking was going at night. And when you're in an airboat, you sit high, and he went underneath the railroad track. And then that's what happened. But anyway, yeah, you can go in any water with an airboat. But I just wanted to show you guys that Cajun Navy isn't all that bad. I understand they may be rude. They may be, stressed of doing whatever they're doing. I don't know what they're doing out there. They might be rude. Yes, they might be, whatever. I don't know. However, they're not all bad. And I'm going to ask you, if you have the means and you can, please donate to them. This is Sebastian Rogers' parents on Nancy Grace, mom Katie, and stepdad Chris. I watched this last night. I wasn't going to go live with this because everybody did. However, when I woke up this morning and saw all the videos of Dolly, I just wanted to come up and let y'all know that they're not all bad, because everybody's bashing them and talking bad about them. And this is how they, this is how they support, how they do with donations, just like AWP, like I said. Like, it's not cheap to run those boats. And they do help. I just read how many people they helped for Hurricane Katrina. I just played how they helped my personal city, where I was born and raised, helped. And we'll hear from the Cajun Navy also on Nancy Grace. But I want y'all to listen to Nancy Grace, because I felt like Chris and Katie both lied. And for some reason, they couldn't look straight into the camera. That's us. I just didn't like their demeanor and I don't think Nancy knew. Like, come on, she's Nancy Grace. She's not playing.
6 Monday morning, 6 a.m. From everything we can tell, that is the moment that Sebastian's mom and stepdad realize he's gone. For just one moment, imagine that. You go in your child's room, where you find your child every single school day morning, and you wake them up, but at 6 a.m., he's not there. Can you imagine what must have gone through their minds? First of all, I want you to hear what his bio mom, Katie Proudfoot, says. Listen.
When I woke him up for school, he wasn't there. I took a second and walked through the house looking for him in case he'd gotten up and was trying to get breakfast or something, because he did that sometimes. About 3 minutes in, give or take, I was on the phone with my husband. I said, I can't find him. He said, what do you mean you can't find him? I said, he's not in the house.
Can't find him. Where is he? And In the last days, we learned that the official law enforcement search is actually scaling back. This as TikTokers and YouTubers are flooding the area, conducting their own searches. Listen to Eric Craddock, Chief Deputy, Sumner County Sheriff's.
Really wanted to come to the community and ask for your help. We need you to search your properties every day, morning and night. If there's a shed or a crawl space or up under your mobile home or a tarp that's in your yard, check it every morning and check it every night. Look for any details that something has been disturbed. If there's a shirt that was there today that wasn't there yesterday, notify us. You can really help us by searching your own property twice a day. Like I said, we're operating under the assumption that Sebastian walked off, and we really need your help to ensure that he is brought home safely.
We are trying to determine what happened when this young boy, an autistic young boy, seemingly walks out of his own home in the middle of the night, we think, barefoot. How did that happen? I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories. Thank you for being with us here at Crime Stories and on SiriusXM.
Please hit that like button for me, share, and subscribe. I would really, really appreciate it. Southwest Jeff CPNI, I think you would look really good in green.
111. We've read a lot online. We've seen a lot of theories, a lot of speculation. But let's start with what we know to be true. Joining me right now, an all-star panel. But first, I'm going to go to two special guests joining us, Katie and Chris Proudfoot. This is Sebastian's biological mother and his stepfather, who were in their home with Sebastian when he goes missing. To both of the Proudfoots, thank you for being with us. I want to go straight back to when Sebastian goes missing. Miss Proudfoot, I understand that the day before, which would have been Sunday, if I've got the information correct, that you guys went out, you went to dinner, you went to somewhere, I believe you said BJ's, where he had a, quote, colossal popcorn. Then you came home that night, and around 9 p.m., you tell Sebastian to go to bed. He says, okay, he goes to his room. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
That night, I understand from previous statements you've made that you went to bed around midnight. Is that correct?
It is.
And to you, Mr. Proudfoot, Chris Proudfoot, did you also go to bed at midnight or before or after?
No, ma'am. We went to bed around the same time because we were on the phone together.
And
He was not home.
please excuse any of my questions. I'm simply trying to find out more about that night. Do you two sleep in the same bedroom?
We both went to bed at the same time. And then she pops up. He wasn't home. But yeah, I was on the phone for 3 hours. Okay, I can't say nothing because I talked to Richie for 3 hours, but we're not married.
He wasn't actually in the home at all that weekend.
You were not home.
No,
okay,
ma'am.
So where were you, Mr. Proudfoot?
I was in Memphis, Tennessee.
How far away is that?
3 hours and 37 minutes from doorstep to doorstep.
And what were you doing in Memphis?
Working.
Where do you work?
I'm currently working, or was working, at the St. Jude Children's Hospital construction project.
Yes, I'm very familiar with St. Jude's. You said you were working there. Are you no longer working there?
It's up in the air.
Right now, that's up in the air.
But yet that's where you're headed to right now, right?
You've been gone ever since Sebastian went missing. So I understand. When you are home, do you two sleep in the same bedroom?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Is this a 3-bedroom home?
Yes, ma'am.
Where is your room as it relates to Sebastian's room?
It's on the opposite end of the house. The master bedroom's on one side, and the other two bedrooms are on the other side of the house.
Okay, so your master bedroom is on one side of the house, and Sebastian's room is on the other side of the house. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, you have a third bedroom that I believe you keep for your other daughter. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that Faith? Is your other daughter named Faith?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So where is Faith's bedroom as it relates to Sebastian's bedroom?
It's in the back side of the house. Sebastian's bedroom is
So
on the
it's-
front side of the house.
Okay. So his bedroom is away from Faith's bedroom and away from your master bedroom. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Is Sebastian's room on a top floor or a ground level?
We have a ranch style house. It's a 1.5 story. So everything is flat, and then you have the bonus room above the garage.
Okay. So his is on ground floor, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. That morning, was there any sign of a break-in through a window, a front door, a back door, a sliding glass door, anything at all?
No, because they stay locked in the house.
Okay. No sign of forced entry. Was anything taken from the home at all?
Not that we could find anything. We couldn't find anything missing.
Okay, hold on.
I want to circle back.
Yeah. Earlier, when they had a list of Sebastian, it said he took a small flashlight, but you just said nothing was missing. How do you know he took a small flashlight?
Back to Sebastian's shoes regarding if anything was missing. Do you have a burglar alarm?
No, ma'am.
Do you have a Ring doorbell cam?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Have the two of you taken a polygraph?
This is so good. Chris said, I didn't need to because I wasn't around. And Nancy's like, if I pay and set one up, will you do one?
I have.
I have not.
Would you be willing to?
I've offered and volunteered on many occasions to take a polygraph, and I was told directly by law enforcement because of my whereabouts, I did not need one.
I understand. Ms. Proudfoot, did you pass your polygraph?
I did.
Those questions out of the way. Was Faith in the home when Sebastian went missing?
How convenient.
No, ma'am.
Does anyone else have a key to your home beside your immediate family?
No.
No, ma'am.
That night, Miss Proudfoot, at midnight when you went to bed, what did you do until midnight?
I had been reading a chapter that I needed to, and I had been talking to my husband on the phone. I was falling asleep on him, so that's when he told me it was around midnight. He told me to go ahead and put the dogs up and go to bed, and that's what I did. I got up, put the dogs where they sleep, and then I myself went to bed.
Where do they sleep?
They have a big pen.
A pen, is it inside or outside?
Inside.
Inside. That reminds me of another question. Do you guys have a motion sensor light or lights on the outside of your house?
Yes, we do have lights on the outside of our house.
Did they activate that night?
They're not motion censored. We have lights.
Were they
but not
on that
motion
night?
censored.
No,
Okay.
ma'am.
Were they on that night? So the lights were out the whole night?
Yes, ma'am. We don't typically turn the floodlights on.
Were there any lights outside the house on at all?
Just my little solar lights that we have in the garden.
There's two lights on the side of the house above the garage that are on at all times.
Oh, yeah, those are on.
Oh, there's a light above the garage. It's on at all times.
How convenient, the location of the garage.
There's two. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so those lights were on.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. The reason I'm asking is because I heard you say earlier, Mr. Proudfoot, that your neighbors have been very, very forthcoming with their Ring camera info. And I was trying to determine if any lights were on, what, if anything, they may have caught. But I understand from your previous interviews that nothing of any evidentiary value was caught. And also, in another statement you gave, I understand that the video of the two flashlights, and I'm saying that with air quotes, that's not exactly what that was at all. We now don't believe that two flashlights were observed around your home. Is that correct?
Yes.
I want to see.
Okay. Question regarding your vehicles. Ms. Proud.
How do they know? Sebastian took a small flashlight, right? And then they see a flashlight out in the dark, and then they're saying it's not a flash. How do you know it wasn't Sebastian if you knew he had a flashlight?
What make and model do you drive?
I drive a Infinity SUV.
How nice.
Year?
2017.
And sir, what do you drive?
I drive a diesel truck, Chevrolet.
Year?
I don't remember off the top of my head. I think it's a 2021, I think.
So your Infinity SUV was parked in the garage?
In my opinion, they had a month to get their story straight. I am so sorry, but these people are so suspicious, and I don't think the bio dad is involved at all. But I'm not saying these people are either. In my opinion, they are very suspicious. Oh, I just saw your comment.
You're outside the garage that night, Miss Proudfoot.
In the garage.
In the garage. And Mr. Proudfoot, your vehicle was on location in Memphis. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. So there's only one car at the home. Is that right?
There was actually a work vehicle in the driveway at the time as well, but it hasn't moved. We can't give out that information because we don't have permission from her work.
I don't understand that. What?
About the make and model of the vehicle.
I have a work van that was also parked in the driveway.
Why is that? If it's out in the driveway where people can see it, why is that
private?
Privileged information.
We just don't have permission from her company to divulge that information.
Have you asked?
Nancy's like, what?
No, ma'am, we have not. Nobody's asked us
So
that
that
question.
was okay. So you have a work van. Question to you, Miss Proudfoot, what do you do for a living?
I am an installation technician.
That night, was the work van blocking your driveway? Could someone go in and out of your driveway?
The van is parked at the back of my driveway, so someone can pull in, yes.
Got it. Do you park your Infinity SUV in the garage or outside the garage?
In the garage.
In the garage. Do you have an automatic garage door?
With the clicker.
Right. Do you leave that up or down at night?
Down.
Could anybody lift it up? Like, is there an on and off button outside, or do you have to know a code or have the clicker to open it?
You'd have to know the code or have the clicker.
Does Sebastian know the code?
Not to the garage door.
Sebastian left with a small flashlight, and they see flashlights in the dark. How do you know that's not him with a flashlight? If you know he took a flashlight, and then you said nothing was missing from the house. Apparently a flashlight was.
But to the man doors.
Not to the garage door, but to the house doors?
The regular door, yes.
Regular key.
There's a code.
And he knows that code?
Yes, ma'am.
Question. I'm just trying to figure out how he would have gotten out, or if somebody came into the home. Could they have gotten through the garage door? No, unless they know the code or had the clicker, which they did not. Do you lock your doors at night?
Yes, ma'am.
Could he have left on his own through those doors?
He could, yes, ma'am.
But I heard in another interview where Mr. Proudfoot said he was not a, quote, wanderer. He didn't wander around. He had never left the home before on his own. Is that right?
Correct. We haven't had issues with him running or taking off in the past.
Okay, let me ask you a couple of questions regarding the doors. Do you have any home surveillance, anything at all that would have given us an idea or a clue if the door had been opened or not, or a window?
Not directly from our house.
Well, then from where?
That's what we were hoping, that neighborhood Ring cameras and may have picked something up.
Gotcha. I want to go back to that night. You said you were up till midnight. You were reading something. What were you reading?
A chapter for school.
A chapter for school. Are you in school?
I was, yes, ma'am. I've since dropped my classes for the time.
What are you studying?
Business administration.
Gotcha. Where do you go to school?
DeVry.
So that night you go to bed at midnight after you've been talking to Mr. Proudfoot on the phone. You put the dogs away in a cage, a crate inside the home, and you go to bed. Did you check on Sebastian at that time?
I did not.
Okay. Do you normally?
Not typically. Since he's gotten older, I've not been checking on him as frequently throughout the night, because normally he's good to go in his room once he goes to bed.
Earlier, you had stated you heard a noise in his room before you went to bed. What time was that?
Around 10 o'clock.
10 p.m. What did it sound like?
Just a thud.
A thud. You stated that you said, look, I don't care what you're doing in there. Go to bed. Is that right?
I was on the couch, which is near his room, and I said, Bubba, did you fall out of the bed? And he said, no, ma'am. And I said, well, whatever you're doing in there, knock it off and go to sleep.
So you heard his voice at 10 p.m.?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any idea what the sound actually was?
I do not, no.
If he were to go out his window, what would he step on?
Mush, Nancy.
Mulch and bushes.
Did you say mulch or mush?
Mulch.
Mulch.
Mulch. Okay. Got it. Has he ever gone out the window before?
No, ma'am.
Is his room on the front of the house or the back of the house?
Front.
Front. Do any of your neighbors' ring cams point toward your house? Could they pick that up?
They do, but it's so dark that they can only see it. After it gets so dark at night, they can only see certain things where there's light.
I thought there were the two lights on.
On the opposite side of the house.
Okay. Can we talk about Sebastian's shoes? Why are you convinced Sebastian left without shoes on? Or are you?
Well, the reason that came about is because all of his shoes are accounted for inside the house still.
Are you positive?
I'm positive.
How do you know what clothes he was wearing?
The clothes that we described are the ones I saw him in when he went to bed.
That morning, you woke up at 6 o'clock. Is that the normal time you wake up?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a heavy sleeper?
Off and on.
Do you take any medication at night that would make you sleep?
No, ma'am.
But you heard nothing.
I did not, no.
So we know he is alive and well at 10 p.m. At 6 a.m. He's gone. You say he's never left before. Is that right?
Correct. He's never run off before.
And could I confirm, where was his bio dad at the time he went missing?
I believe he was at work in Nashville.
Had there been any family argument or altercation prior to him going missing?
No, ma'am.
And Mr. Proudfoot, when did you leave town?
Early February.
So you had been gone for days before he went missing. Is that correct?
Correct, ma'am.
Had you visited home since you left?
You said from when I initially left?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. I came home February 26th, the morning I was told he was missing.
From the time that you left for the job in Memphis to February 26th, did you visit the home?
Yes, ma'am.
I want to know what room she was in when she heard the thud and hollered out to him. Because if she was in her bedroom, I doubt it because it's on the other side of the house unless she was screaming. I don't know. I would like to know what room. Maybe the living room because he told her to get up, put the dogs up, and go to bed. But how far in distance is the living room to Sebastian's room in their house? I don't know. But yeah, she didn't go check because she hollered out and he said he was okay.
When?
I was home. I can't give exact dates. Law enforcement has told me not to provide exact dates, but I had been home multiple times.
Law
prior to
enforcement told
February.
him not to give out exact dates. I don't think I've ever heard that before. Because what's his name? Wander, whatever. He's sure spitting out dates and where he was. And 5 years ago, he knows to the day what he was doing. Yeah, no.
And then I left early February and then didn't come back till February 26th, the morning he was missing.
So you were not home from the time you left early February till Feb 26. Is that right?
Correct, ma'am.
Where were you living in Memphis?
I have an RV trailer that I stay in at an RV park.
RV park. Okay. Following back up on that morning, you search the home, Ms. Proudfoot. Then you get in your vehicle and you start searching. Did Sebastian know how to drive?
No, ma'am.
Was your car in the same location when you woke up that morning as it was the night before?
Yes, ma'am.
Has your car been searched by police?
Multiple times. Yes, ma'am.
Have scent dogs looked at your car?
Yes, ma'am.
So your car's in the same place. You get in the car, you start looking in the neighborhood for him. Is that
Why you can't look at Nancy? Look, both. And then I think she says she's looking at a picture of Sebastian. That's why she's not looking at the camera. Chris, what's wrong with you over there with your Harley Davidson shirt on? Why are you so quiet looking down? Because you was 3.5 hours away?
that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Then you call Mr. Proudfoot, right?
I believe I was already on the phone with him at that point.
Okay.
Okay, so didn't Chris and Katie say that Chris called 911? Called 911. He said out of his mouth, he called 911. Well, he ain't called 911.
Question: who called 911?
I did.
You did.
Yes,
What
ma'am.
time?
Without looking at a call log, I can't give you the exact time, but on or about 6:20.
And had you guys been talking on the phone before 6 a.m. or did you initially call Mr. Proudfoot at the time you realized Sebastian was gone?
I called him when I realized Sebastian was gone.
Have you guys been out looking for Sebastian?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
We were given information that you guys have left the home. Is that true?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me about that. You left the home. What if Sebastian goes back home?
Why?
There's nobody there.
I'm going back to work.
So your
You're going
job
back
was
to
in
work.
the
What
air,
about you,
but
Ms.
now you
Proudfoot?
got it back.
No, I'm not going back to work.
Why you not
Not
home
yet,
waiting for your
please.
son?
Did you leave the home also, Miss Proudfoot?
Yes, ma'am.
Why?
To accompany my husband going back to work, and then I'm coming back.
Okay. When will you be back? Do you know yet?
No, not yet.
Are you concerned about being away while the search is ongoing?
Absolutely, I am.
Well, then why'd you leave?
Then why are you going?
Thank you, Nancy.
Because my son could be anywhere, and we're looking everywhere and anywhere.
3.5 hours away.
I've got a question for you.
Yes,
I want
ma'am.
to find out about Mr. Proudfoot hitting Sebastian
Mm-hmm.
with a belt. What happened?
Yep. And he lies about CPS. Stop lying, people. Say what you did with your son so this can be over with. Do you know how much money and resources you guys are wasting, in my opinion?
That was actually several years ago, and it
To
was
Mr. Proudfoot.
one-
To Mr. Proudfoot. To Mr. Proudfoot.
Yes,
Mr.
ma'am.
Proudfoot, what happened?
Oh, I'm sorry. I misunderstood. I thought you were asking Katie. Sebastian had gotten in trouble. He got caught lying. And I had asked him, I said, hey, you got to have a punishment for this. He says, yes, sir. And I said, okay. So I gave him a swat with a belt on his buttocks on the outside of his clothes, one swat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right.
What did he lie about?
I don't remember.
Honestly, I don't remember at the time, but it was probably something dealing with school because that's majority where his issues lie.
Did he have other issues at school?
Some behavioral stuff, but nothing too crazy.
What kind of behavioral stuff?
He has a hard time. He's like awkwardly socially like blending in with students. So it's a little, he's trying to figure out how to do it, but respecting people's space. He gets a little too close. And then kids don't really accept that too much. So it kind of causes an issue. But he'll not stop. And
In my opinion, he just doesn't know how to deal with a child that's on the spectrum. That's all. Like, really?
he continues on. So then it causes an issue. And instead of being honest about it, he'll lie like, no, I didn't. Okay, Sebastian.
We're lying about doing
Was
what?
that the first time? Was that the first time you had ever hit him with a belt?
No.
Yes, ma'am.
Liar.
The one and only time, actually.
Liar.
When was this?
Years ago, ma'am.
Years ago when he was way younger?
Any idea how many? 3,
No,
10,
I don't
1?
remember.
It probably at least 3 years ago.
I don't understand how that turned into a CPS or Child Protective Services complaint. How were they alerted that you hit him with a belt?
That did not turn into a CPS service call.
There were other CPS reports, right? Were they regarding your other child?
There is one in regards to my daughter that I know of out in New Mexico with my ex-wife and myself.
But it wasn't your fault.
What
right?
happened?
At the time, my ex-wife had fled to New Mexico with my daughter. We were going through a custody and a divorce case at that time. And at the time, when I'd call and try to check in on my daughter, I could never reach my ex-wife at that time. So a welfare check was requested. Law enforcement told me to call CPS if I had concerns. So I called CPS. Law enforcement did make a welfare call, and that was it.
Then how does that turn into a CPS complaint against you?
Exactly.
I have no idea, ma'am.
Of course
There's
not.
a lot of misinformation out there right now in regards to my New Mexico case. That
I heard that he had a CPS case in New Mexico and Tennessee. I don't know if that's factual. Does anyone else know that?
actually has no relevance to the Sebastian case.
Then was there even a CPS complaint against you in New Mexico?
Not that I am aware of.
Whatever.
My attorney and myself are well educated on my case, and there's nothing that we know of.
That's why you didn't know TPO is the same as a TRO. TPO, protective order. Not TR, yeah. Temporary. Temporary.
Was there a TRO taken out against
No,
you
not a TRO, a
regarding
TPO.
your daughter?
They're the same
Not a
thing.
TRO, but a TPO.
A temporary protective order. Why was that taken out?
So in regards to that case, my ex-wife had a TPO put against her in Tennessee at the time. When we went to court, that got dissolved. I was ordered to hand my daughter back over to my ex-wife at the time. She gets in a truck. She fleds to New Mexico. 2 days later, she files one in retaliation.
Of course, never your fault.
Is it still in place?
Hi, Winter Girl.
No, ma'am, that was dropped within, I think, 2 weeks of it being put in place.
I've got a question about the belt incident. You're telling me that was the only time that you ever hit Sebastian with a belt?
Yes, ma'am.
Nope. You can't say that.
And you're also telling
no
me
one will
that
believe
did
you.
not make it to CPS?
No, ma'am, that did not.
Question.
Yes, ma'am.
Regarding Faith's furniture.
Yes,
a few days after Sebastian goes missing, did you replace furniture in Faith's room?
No, ma'am, I have not replaced any furniture in my daughter's room.
Is there any new furniture in the home?
Yes, ma'am, there's a bed that was given to me and it's currently in my garage.
Has anything been taken out of the home?
No, ma'am.
I was curious about a statement that Miss Proudfoot made earlier that canine dogs hit on the barn around the home and near a retention pond. Did that happen?
I'm not sure about the barn, but the retention pond, yes.
Because law enforcement says the dogs did not hit. But Miss
There's
Proudfoot says they did hit around the retention pond.
So there's been a lot of miscommunication in regards to what is and what is not. To help clear that up, law enforcement has actually spoken directly with me, showed me a few things. What I can tell you is from day one, there was 5 dogs that started the scent for the search. And then after that, from the next 8 days out from that, there have been dogs from all over the country that have come in and done searches and had scent hits in various locations. But I would say a certain percentage of them tend to go toward the same spot, which would have been a retention pond.
So the law enforcement dogs did not hit on the retention pond. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying they did. There was at least 3 that I know for a fact that did hit on the retention pond.
And the pond has been drained, correct? And there was nothing there.
Yes, ma'am. They have walked it, drained it, and there's nothing. The retention pond was only knee deep anyways.
On one occasion, Mr. Proudfoot, you stated that you and Mrs. Proudfoot have been, quote, vetted and cleared of foul play. That was stated on Chronicles of Olivia. Is that true? What do you mean by that?
Yes. So after working with law enforcement of all agencies, they have actually told us that
Smiley Stories World did interview them also. Kaz, can you get her link for me and post it, please? So that if anyone would like to go see the interview with her, and also Chronicles of Olivia. If you want to see the interview with them, that way you can kind of see, their lives and how they turn things around and stuff.
there is no foul play, no nefarious issues. We've been cleared of all wrongdoing. We are working extremely cooperative with all law enforcement agencies at any point in time that they've called, come to the house, anything.
Was Sebastian angry or upset before he disappeared?
No, ma'am.
Not to my knowledge.
What is your theory about where is Sebastian?
I wish I knew where he was, to be honest.
Your theory.
I think it's possible that someone has my son.
Why?
Because I feel like if he had been close to the house or had walked off, that we would found him by now with as many people as we had searching.
Have you checked his social media?
He doesn't have social media.
Have you checked his phone?
His phone has been thoroughly checked. Yes, ma'am.
Have you handed your phones to police, both of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, we have.
Has police searched all of your devices, your laptop, your iPad, everything?
Everything. Yes, ma'am.
Other than you, Miss Proudfoot, who is the last person that saw or heard Sebastian alive the Sunday before he went missing?
2 of his aunts, a cousin, and the staff where we had dinner.
And that was at BJ's the night before or the bowling alley?
So BJ's, and then we went to the bowling alley, and then after the bowling alley, we went to dinner before coming home.
I want to follow up again on the dogs hitting. Earlier, Ms. Proudfoot had stated the dogs hit around the house, the barn, and at the retention pond. Is that correct?
I don't know about the barn, but I do know that they did track to the pond, yes.
Did the dogs also hit around the house?
Yes, ma'am.
On the outside of the house?
Yes, ma'am.
Were they scent dogs or cadaver dogs?
They brought in both cadaver and tracking dogs.
Which dog hit, a cadaver dog or a scent dog?
Scent dog.
It's all been scent dogs that have hit. The cadaver dogs have not hit on anything that we know of.
What do you believe Sebastian was wearing when he disappeared? And would that have been what he slept in?
Yes. So the clothes, the black
Thank you,
sweatpants.
Cass. So she dropped the links if you would like to go see the interviews that they did on these two channels. The links are in the chat. Also, the links to the videos that I'm playing right now are also in the description. All of them.
With the white stripes and the long sleeve black shirt, that is what he went to bed in. And the reason that I believe he was still wearing those clothes is because when we searched, I did not find those clothes in the house. So I have to assume that that's what he was still wearing.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. Did you say that's what he wore when he went to bed?
Yes, ma'am.
Joining us right now, in addition to Katie Proudfoot and Chris Proudfoot, the bio mom and stepdad of Sebastian, an all-star panel. First to Brian Trasher joining us, Vice President of the Cajun Navy, who has joined the search. Brian, thank you for being with us. Who asked you to join the search?
Well, we had deployed a team up to Nashville, Tennessee last week in response to the missing college student, Riley Strain. And we stayed up there until he was found. While we were in the area, we had a lot of people reaching out to us on social media saying that there was a young boy who had been missing for several weeks that was only about 20 miles away from where we were. So we talked to a few people, got some information, and decided to deploy part of our team that was already up there to Sumter County to investigate and see what we could do to help out.
You went on your own. Were you asked to join?
We were asked to join. I'm not sure specifically who some of our people talk to, but we get requests all the time, and we'll reach out. We'll try to get either a family member or a close friend of the family, just so we know we're talking to people connected to the family. And somebody had reached out and asked us to join since we already had assets so close to Sumter County.
Tell me what you have been doing, Brian Trasher. Everyone with me, the VP of the Cajun Navy, who has joined in the search. You can find them at CajunNavyRelief.com. Brian, tell me what you guys have been doing.
Just we're the United Cajun Navy. We're the original group that everybody hears about. There's other groups that use the Cajun Navy name to try to fundraise off of our efforts. Cajun Navy Relief is not affiliated with us at all. We are www.unitedcajunnavy.org. We're the original. We're the real ones.
Real ones. Original.
Again, what exactly have you been doing on the search?
So we've had our own canine team who was already participating in the search for Riley Strain up there searching around. We've talked with the lead investigator with Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, Agent Simmons. We've talked a lot with him and trying to coordinate efforts, because we always try to coordinate with law enforcement, make sure we're not getting in the way.
You hear that? They coordinate with law enforcement so they don't get in the way.
Duplicating efforts or putting out any.
You know what, Mr. Trasher, let me just cut the chase here. Isn't it true that this weekend, pursuant to your search, that cadaver dogs hit in an area that had been closed off because of a prior hurricane, and it is on federal property? Bones and other items were found at that time. I found that very odd, as it would relate to Sebastian. Even if it was Sebastian, his body would not have been skeletonized at this time. Can you tell me now that what was found over the weekend is not connected to Sebastian? Yes, no?
No.
Not connected to Sebastian.
That hit was, that's correct. That hit was not connected to Sebastian.
Okay. Joining me also, in addition to Brian Trasher, who has been leading the Cajun Navy in its search for Sebastian. Hold on, Brian. Other than those hits, have there been any other dog hits in and around the home or elsewhere?
Not from our canine team.
I'm very concerned, Brian, as you can imagine, because LE law enforcement has stated there were no cases.
So you see, they have more than just airboats and boats and marsh boats, like y'all want to call them. They have dogs too.
9 hits outside the home, which I find very, very disturbing. because if he had gone outside, particularly barefoot, there would definitely have been a scent trail. Now we're hearing from the Proudfoots that there was a hit around that retention pond. How far is that pond from your home, Mr. Proudfoot?
Less than probably half a mile if you walk the whole path.
Is it through wooded area? Would he have had to walk through the woods to get there?
No, ma'am. You can actually walk either the main road or the subdivision. So the construction site is a subdivision, new addition that's being built, and they have a road that's going to be tied into our subdivision. So you could actually walk up that way, or you could walk to the main road and walk into it.
Did Sebastian ever sleepwalk?
No, ma'am.
So he would have had to leave the house undetected by Katie and walk all the way to that retention pond. Did the dogs follow the trail a half a mile?
Yes, ma'am.
They followed the trail all the way to that retention pond?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
That's very curious, as they are saying the dogs didn't pick anything up. Back to you, Brian Trasher. Did you guys search anywhere other than that federal property where the false positive was? Yes, no?
No.
Joining me is Courtney Lasky, high-profile behavior analyst, autism expert, chief clinical officer with Little Starts Therapy. Courtney, thank you for being with us. At this juncture, we know Sebastian to be most likely with people he doesn't know, if in fact he is still alive. How would that affect a young boy with autism?
It would affect him greatly. Based on the diagnosis of autism, we know that they typically have deficits with communication, social skills, and they display some rigid and repetitive behaviors. If, in fact, he is with someone else who does not know him well, that would be entirely out of his routine. He could be engaging in behaviors he hasn't engaged in before. He could be looking for an escape. He could be looking to get out of those aversive situations. We know that not every autistic individual will wander, but those who do wander, 36%, it's to get out of an aversive situation. It's to get away from something that's overwhelming or overstimulating to them.
Fighting, whipping him with a
Ms.
belt.
Proudfoot, does he
Because you whipped him more than one time, Chris. Stop lying.
know your phone number? Can he call you if he could get access to a phone?
We have gone over my phone number. I don't know that in a high stress time he would remember it, but yes, I have taught him my phone number.
Was he ever allowed to go visit friends' homes?
This is sad right here.
He didn't get invited, but had he been, yes, we have had play dates in the past.
Would he go there on foot?
No, ma'am.
Joining me now is Lauren Conlon, investigative journalist, host of the Outlier podcast, host of Corruption, What Happened to Grant Solomon. And you can find her at laurenconlon.com. Lauren, thank you so much for being with us. What can you tell me about that stretch of road, if anything, between Sebastian's home and that retention pond?
Well, look, Nancy, I mean, I think like everything else about this case, it is very confusing because the public hasn't heard much from the police. We haven't heard much from the Proudfoots, obviously, when it comes to that, or Seth Rogers. And now I'm learning a lot here as I hear Chris Proudfoot say, okay, we can't speak about this because of law enforcement. And now with the Cajun Navy coming in, I think a lot of us are very excited that they are going to basically canvass this road. And they are actually telling civilians to hang back. Nobody needs to search this anymore. You need to stop. You need to stop helping and let us work with law enforcement and take over. Now, I call this Sumner County.
Did you hear that?
Sheriff's Office yesterday because of all the misinformation going around. And I got to be honest with you, they didn't even know what was going on with this road, with the recreation search. They were either very elusive or they were very confused. But either way, it's very concerning because the people, as well as myself, I don't live in Tennessee. I cover a lot of Tennessee. We are very concerned for Sebastian. We are very concerned. And so,
okay, so let me just stop you right there, Ms. Conlon. Ms. Conlon, everyone is concerned, but let me remind everyone that law enforcement is under no duty at all to tell us or anybody else, including the Proudfoots, anything. They are not representing the Proudfoots. They are representing justice, and they will do what they have to do. The fact that they're not giving us a blow by blow is their business. Does it mean they're stymied? I don't know. Does it mean they know more than we think they do? I don't know the answer to that. But just because they're not releasing an ongoing investigative file is not a concern to me. At this juncture, I am collecting facts in the best way I know how. Now, regarding that route from the Proudfoot home to the retention pond, is it your understanding, Lauren Conlon, that there were no hits by scent or cadaver dogs along that route?
Correct, Nancy. It is my understanding there were no hits from the dogs.
It is very confusing. It's confusing. You know, sometimes, Lauren, when we try to put together a puzzle, but we're missing a few pieces and we don't know what piece we're missing, you can't put the puzzle together. We're missing things from this puzzle. And right now, I'm on a fact-finding mission. I am pointing the finger at no one.
Yeah,
because
right.
I want to find Sebastian. I want to go to Dr. Jory Crossan joining me. And guys, again, please, Proudfoots, Trasher, Lasky, Conlon, jump in if you have a thought or you want to contradict, because a lot of this is elusive. We don't know everything. To you, Jory Crossan, joining us, former law enforcement, now faculty, St. Leo University, very well known psychologist and author of Operation SOS. You can find him at drjory.com. Dr. Jory, thank you for being with us. Many people have made much of the fact that when interviewed, the Proudfoots do not look at the camera. They look away, they don't cry, and they don't seem upset. Now, that may or may not mean anything. People can be very upset, crying, screaming, cursing. They may show no emotion at all. They may be numb by the time interviews are happening. I'm very different. When I talk about my fiance's murder or I talk about my dad's death, I still cry, even when I swear I'm not going to. But everyone reacts differently. I'm going to throw this directly to Mr. and Mrs. Proudfoot. Much has been made. I'll ask you. You very often look away, don't look at who's asking you questions, show no emotion. Much has been made of that. And I'd like to hear your response. I'm not judging one way or the other.
Yeah, you are.
I'd like to hear your response.
To the fact of not looking at the camera all the time is because a picture of my son is sitting beside me, and I'm looking at him.
No,
As
you
far as
just
the
can't
crying
look at the
thing,
camera.
I have been crying off and on nonstop for a month.
Many people have asked me, why did Miss Proudfoot not call 911 immediately? And here's your chance to answer that.
Because by the time I realized my son was missing and I called my husband, at that point I was hysterical. I was at the point where I couldn't even form words anymore, and my husband is the one who remained calm enough to call them.
Here we go, right here. Hold on. Remember, he called 911, right? He called 911 because she was so hysterical she couldn't call, right? He ain't called 911.
Wait, we live outside of city limits, so you don't call 911 because you get routed to a dispatching hub who asks what's your location, and then they route you to another dispatcher to talk to give this story. I cut all of that out and I called straight to the sheriff's department because they have jurisdiction of where we live. So Sorry that I decided to bypass a few steps and go straight to the source, where they responded within 10 minutes of the phone call being made.
You got their number on speed dial?
Miss Proudfoot, that evening, were you drinking?
No, ma'am.
Had you used any type of drug at all, even OTC, over the counter?
No, ma'am.
And you had no argument with Sebastian that night?
No, ma'am.
You stated you put the dogs away into a crate before you went to bed. Is the crate located near the exit, near a door?
No, ma'am.
Would the dogs have barked if there had been an intruder or if Sebastian had left?
The dogs don't typically bark at me and Sebastian because they're used to us. Even if we get up, we come around, they don't typically bark. Strangers, they do tend to bark, at least for a minute or two to get attention. But no, ma'am, they don't typically bark at Sebastian and myself or Christopher.
What kind of dogs are they?
Morkies.
Question, where is their crate located?
In the area near my sunroom.
Over by the
In
kitchen.
your son's, okay, hold on. Is
No,
it
son,
outside
not
your
son.
son's room?
No, ma'am, not
Sunroom.
Sebastian's room. Son, yeah, yes, ma'am.
The sunroom. And that's not near the door?
No, ma'am.
Not near the front door.
It's near my back door, but not any of the other doors.
Yes, from what I've seen the layout of the home, it is near the back door, and they would have heard someone coming in and out that back door, correct?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
No barking. Do you have a chime or anything on your doors that would alert you to the door opening?
No, ma'am.
Miss Grace, could I jump
Question.
in for something?
Yes, please. And I want to follow up with a question
Yes.
regarding Miss Proudfoot's polygraph. But please, Lauren, jump in. Everybody on the
Thank you.
panel, now is the time to ask the Proudfoots any question that may shed light on what has happened to Sebastian. We are not in a judging arena. We are in a fact-finding arena. We can then assimilate the facts and make deductions. Please jump in. Lauren Conlon is
Yes.
joining me. You can find her at Lauren Emily Conlon. Go ahead.
Yes, thank you. And now this might be for Brian as well. Yesterday, when the dogs hit and everybody's going crazy, YouTubers, internet, TikTokers, and we figure out it's not Sebastian and police are not involved, the TBI is not involved. Did you call the Proudfoots and let them know that this was not Sebastian? Did you tell them ahead of time that you were searching these areas? Did they know what you were doing, or was this specifically just through Seth Rogers?
Yeah, so Seth Rogers is Sebastian's biological father, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so
Yes.
he was there, and as Ms. Grace alluded to earlier, it would not have been typical or possibly even probable that he could have skeletonized.
If this guy Brian has been rude to any of you guys, I am sorry, but not every person in the Cajun Navy is like him, and I'm sorry if he was rude to you guys. That's not okay to be rude. I'm not sure why, but even though he's the vice president, he's not everybody on the team. You know what I mean? And like I said, I apologize to you guys if he was rude, and I don't know why I'm apologizing, but I am.
After only a few weeks. So I'm not sure about the Proudfoots, but his father definitely did know. I also wanted to echo what Miss Nancy said earlier about the police. One of the reasons we got called in, there was a lot of social media personalities reaching out to us, kind of complaining that they didn't feel like the police were doing enough. But really, it's just what Miss Nancy said. It's that they're not under obligation to give daily or every other day updates. They are doing an investigation. We have been in very close contact with TBI, and I can tell everybody with 100% certainty they are on top of it. They are not letting their foot off the gas at all on the search for Sebastian or trying to find out what happened to him. The YouTubers and TikTokers that do live stream probably do the most harm. We appreciate the attention that they bring to things, but when you do a live stream, you don't have any control over what gets seen by potentially the entire world. So we would, we can't tell people what not to do. They have free speech. It's their own accounts they're using. Not helpful to do live streams during searches like that. If you want to do it, do a video that you can potentially edit later, so that we cut down on the amount of misinformation. That's why social media is not necessarily a house. We go in and do search and rescue. You have to trust the process, like we do. We trust law enforcement is going to have this wrapped up probably very soon.
Brian,
Yeah, I
however, I want to
hope
make
so.
sure that you are not encouraging citizen sleuths to stop looking, because I've had many cases where we put out the warning and they actually spot a missing person. I mean, I only have to point to Gabby Petito, whose remains were found in dispersed camping way out west by a citizen who had heard about the case. So, sometimes their information is wrong, but there is no way in HELL that I would ask them to stop. And I know that's not where you're headed. Yeah.
No, we don't want them to stop. Matter of fact, it was 2 citizen sleuths that found Riley Strain's bank card out by the bank of the Cumberland River in Nashville. So, like I said, they do provide a service. My only suggestion was maybe not doing live stream, maybe just video, and then you can edit and post later. Just a suggestion.
Hey guys, I don't want to see anything edited. I want to see the whole thing. No edits,
Nancy.
no airbrushing, the real deal. But that's just me. I want to go back to Katie Proudfoot. This is Sebastian's biological mother, Miss Proudfoot. What questions were you asked during your polygraph?
I was asked if I knew where my son was. I was asked if I hurt him. I was asked if I had hurt someone, among a few other questions.
And Mr. Proudfoot, you have volunteered to take a poly?
Yes, ma'am.
If I were to set up a poly for you, would you take it?
Any day of the week.
Name the place and time, ma'am. I'll be there.
And you're headed back to Memphis right now. Are you in your RV right now?
I am in my RV. We are not disclosing our current location. Just
What are you going to do when your son goes home and y'all aren't there and the doors are locked? He's going to leave again.
because of safety reasons, due to the YouTubers, the Facebookers out there that have sent some very heinous, threatening information and things of that nature, threatening to be outside of our house, all kinds of nasty things. So we're not disclosing our location at this time.
If you wouldn't be
unless
so
you're law
sus,
enforcement.
nobody would
Is
say
that
anything.
one of the reasons you left the home?
One of them, yes, ma'am.
Question to you guys. When police came in and processed your home, did they look with, for instance, luminol? Did they check? What did they do when they searched your home?
They thoroughly searched my home with many different things. They removed some things for the dogs to hold the scent, and for Sebastian's DNA. I know that they used thermal
night
vision. Thank you. And I don't know exactly all of the tools that they used, but I do know that multiple different searches were done on my home by many different people, detectives, sheriffs, and a few others.
Oh, they're not done yet.
I wouldn't swear that the forensics folks showed up or not, because there were so many folks in and out of the house that it was just, I'm so-and-so law enforcement. I'm so-and-so.
You're going to say they contaminated the crime scene. Oh, you are an ass. You are an ass.
Law enforcement. Okay.
Every time they've said we need to look, please do.
Does Sebastian have a hardwood floor or a carpeted floor?
In his bedroom,
Carpet.
Yes. Carpeting.
Carpet.
Did they remove any carpeting?
No, ma'am.
Do you feel confident they searched his bathroom?
They did.
Yes, ma'am, they did.
When you state that they removed items for the scent dogs, what did they take?
Clothing, a blanket that he used like every day, and a few other items of his, toiletries, like his brush.
Lauren Collin joining us, investigative journalist. Lauren, again, thank you for being with us. And earlier you were hearing sound from WSMV4. I understand you have another question.
Oh, I mean, I guess I didn't quite get the clarity I wanted, in the sense that, did the Proudfoots know that this search was going on with the Cajun Navy? Were they being called? Were you guys being alerted about this? Did you hear from a YouTuber that they found something, that the the search dog started jumping? Or, were you just kind of blind to all of this? Just, over in your corner doing your search?
No, ma'am. So here, to set that record straight and help the United Cajun Navy. So somebody's got a picture out there saying that we're enjoying a dinner, when we're actually out there, got flyers at a dinner table because we need to eat. My wife was on the phone with the Cajun Navy. That's how the Cajun Navy was brought in. And we talked to the president of the United Cajun Navy.
I told y'all they called the Cajun Navy in themselves.
He put us in touch with their team that was here locally in Nashville. Then that young lady reached back out to us, gave us some more information. We gave her some more details. Then they said they would start a search, but we also had them get in direct contact with the TBI agent, as well as Sumter County's Sheriff's Department. We provided all that information. They reached out to them, got some information. They pushed outside of the areas that had been searched already, conducted a search. Somehow or another, they linked up with the bio father, who supposedly got a tip from somewhere. Whether or not it was credible or not, we don't know. But it led them to searching on federal property without permission, which is where we have been informed at some point that there was allegedly a hit on something, but turned out to be nothing. And they were asked to leave the property immediately, or the cops were going to be called, because it was trespassing based off of a tip that the bio father received.
Yeah, to Brian Trasher, VP of Cajun Navy, let's clear it up. Isn't it true this is on federal property that had been closed off? It was a hurricane site earlier. It was also, yes, thank you. And it was also near railroad tracks, and some homeless people had been living there, and apparently one of them had died, and we believe that is what the dogs were hitting on. Is that correct?
Yeah, all the above is correct. And we did not gain access to the property. It had already been open when we got there. I'm not sure how entry was gained, but yeah, everything above it that you said was correct.
Guys, the search for Sebastian goes on. If you have information, if you know or think you know anything about this beautiful, young, autistic boy, please call TBI, Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, 800-TBI, FIND, T Tennessee, B Bureau, I, Investigative, TBI, FIND, 1-800-TBI, FIND. That's 800-824-3463. Please join us in the search for Sebastian and lift up your prayers. This boy will be found.
Goodbye, friends. So that's all that I have. Hey, Teresa, it's good to see you. Thank you for coming in. I am Two Bear, and there's Modine. Thank y'all for coming in, you guys. Thank you to everyone on Twitter. Oh my gosh, I have 50 of y'all on Twitter watching. Y'all are just amazing. So that's all I have for you today. I really just wanted to talk about Cajun Navy. Please watch the beginning if you haven't watched the beginning. I understand some are upset, but I need to let y'all know how they helped my community personally. And it hurts to hear people bash them just because of one person. Cajun Navy lied about finding Riley. They didn't find any workers on the barge found Riley. I didn't hear that they said they found him. I just know that they You're welcome, Southwest Jeff CP. And I put his link in the chat somewhere at the top if you would like to donate to Cajun Navy. I would suggest you do. I would, they would greatly appreciate it. It costs a lot of money to do these things they do to search. I mean, they were just in Nashville and now they're in Hendersonville, I think is the name. Um, I don't know. But what's his name? Jason. Do you have something that says that they found him? Because I know they said they helped find him, but especially in this interview right here, cooperating is not the same as being cleared. Exactly, Ratatouille. Exactly. They're not cleared, man. Look, the police is looking at them. They were the last. Katie was the last one to see uh Sebastian. Are you really kidding me right now? They told Nancy Grace that they found Riley the kitchen Navy came out of his own mouthwash. Well, that's what I'm watching right now. Did y'all hear him say they? If they did, I'm sorry, I didn't get it. But I'm not sure who found Riley. I just know he was like connected to a barge or whatever. But they're not all bad. Yes, this is the one that was in Louisiana. They said themselves that they um got together for Hurricane Katrina. The only reason, and they're not against YouTubers. The only thing they're asking is not to live stream in case you come across something that shouldn't be live streamed for thousands and hundreds of thousands and maybe millions to see. That's all. They said they don't mind if you go search, they just don't want it live streamed. What if you come across something? I don't even want to say it, but you know what I mean? That's what they talking about. Man, that had to have been scary to find him like that connected to the barge. Mm-mm-mm. This is sickening. All these, dude, like Tennessee has probably the most missing children I've ever seen. Yes. Yes. And I'm from South Louisiana, and they're from Louisiana. If you didn't watch the beginning, please watch the beginning. They call the cops jailer. Is it true that he got handcuffed? Kaz asked me that earlier. They called the cops and jailer because of filming. But none of YouTubers wasn't. They stood far back just in case. So he wasn't filming or he was filming. I mean, if they ask you not to do it, just don't do it. I mean, what's the big problem? I just don't get it. Who are you, Ratatouille Sabate? Second. It's got to be a troll name. If you didn't see the beginning, please see the beginning. They're not all bad. They did help. We had a really bad hurricane that came through my city, my parish, Hurricane Ida, and they were right there. And they helped us tremendously. And Hurricane Katrina, they saved 10,000 lives. They do save lives. That's not all about finding missing people. They go out in floods where people are on their rooftops begging for help because their houses are underwater. That's what they do. I'm going to text Smiley and ask her if that's true. Because I don't watch DLR and I haven't really been watching the search. I just hear what the clip channels are saying, then I go try and watch myself. But I didn't know. You live in Southwest. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. And I did drop your link for you, Kaz. If you want to drop it again, you can. Yeah. So they're not all bad. Just because one bad egg is over there, it doesn't mean they're all bad. Please, please, please don't judge the whole organization by one person that is an asshole or, whatever. I don't know. Everybody's saying that he's an asshole to them. So believe it. The one dude, I mean, I'm not going to say anybody's lying about it, but I'm just saying don't take one person and their attitude and personality and go against the whole community, the whole organization. Just because one person is an ass, it doesn't mean they're all like that. And I'm going to always take up for them because of what they've done for Hurricane Katrina and Hurricane Ida. Hurricane Ida destroyed my city. And I want to say it again, my city where I was born and raised, grew up, demolished from Hurricane Ida. I'm talking about United Cajun Navy from Louisiana. I don't know who that man was that talked to them, but I'm talking about, and I heard them say that they was helping with Hurricane Katrina. So I assume that they didn't find a homeless dead guy. Even the police said that was false. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know the team that's over there right now. They have different teams in different locations, but they're still the same organization. And they helped a lot of people since 2005. Who? The Cajun Navy guy? Ratatouille? The one that I'm talking about, you guys, is pinned at the top. Wait. Who's not the real one? He was filming the Cajun Navy, and it's because they are lying. Okay, but they asked you not to film them. It's not because they're lying or whatever. What do you think AWP does? Do you support AWP? And then he's a whole pedo. Thank you, Toast. Really, Ratatouille? I still don't care. Look, the people that helped for Hurricane Katrina, the guys that are over there right now did say that they was helping for Hurricane Katrina, so it's got to be the same ones that helped. I'm not saying they're not 2016 or United Cajun Navy, but it's not Cajun Army either, like some people are saying. And if you don't agree with me, I'm fine. I accept that. I mean, we all have different opinions, and you're allowed your opinion in here. No one's gonna, do anything because you have your own opinion. A person found dead and homeless could not be identified in one day, nor could that be released yet. See, y'all, that's why they don't want live streaming, in case you come across a dead person or something that shouldn't be live streamed. That's why. They probably would accept your help. I mean, you say you're a YouTuber and they automatically think you're going to turn around and live stream it, and they ask not to. Yes, thank you, Toast. I am reading your comments, and I'm confused at which one they are. But I know that United Cajun Navy, These people might not even be the same people that helped Louisiana, but they said they are. They said they're from Louisiana, so I don't know. Just because the dude's an asshole doesn't mean they all are. And just because they don't want it live streamed in case you come across a dead body or something that shouldn't be live streamed, then that should be respected, no matter if you're a YouTuber or not. I did toast. However, a lot of organizations have a bad rep. Again, I'm going to say look at AWP. But it doesn't mean that they don't do good. It doesn't mean that they don't deserve, you know, everybody has a bad rep. Everybody has a past. I did. I looked it up. Let me see right now. Let me look it up. It says hindering or helping is one of the topics that I saw. Of course, I didn't read it because I was the United Cajun Navy partnered with the United Cajun Navy partnered with United Cajun Navy. What? Cajun Navy helps find missing. See, they didn't say they found them. It says Cajun Navy helps find missing student. Let me see on their Facebook what they say. See, Louisiana. Sebastian. It's got to be the same one, you guys. That's Louisiana. That's a shrimp boat. I understand that they have. I'm still trying to figure out who it was that actually reached out to the Pigeon put up the Proudfoots, Mr. Rogers. The organization gave 2 different answers from 2 different people. All right, let's see what they say. That's Sebastian. I want to see what they say about I want to see what they say about Raleigh. All right, let's see. Oh, they're back home in Louisiana. It just says United Cajun Navy discusses searches for Raleigh strain. And it has the press conference. I don't know. I understand everybody has a bad rep and everybody has a past, but it doesn't mean that they don't do good work for people. And because not many people come to help us when we do have bad hurricanes, I will always support them. Always. Alrighty. And I'm sorry if you disagree with me. I really am. Like I said, everybody has opinions, and Toast said everybody has facts. I did just Google it. Let me see a second. Beware of Cajun Navy scams. Warning issued over fake something. What is Cajun Navy inside Louisiana? Cajun Navy heroes. Why does America need the Cajun Navy? Cajun Navy 2016 changes names set them apart from others. Cajun Navy, how the hero volunteer organization was found. Is the Cajun Navy still a rescue group? They came quickly after tornado. Why does America need them? What is them? What is them? All right, here we go. Wrong button. The way I took it is one organization with different locations, and that's what I took whenever he was talking about it during the press conference. So, 5 facts you need to know. Look, a family they helped. A whole family. Look, the little kid. This was in Texas for Hurricane Harvey. The Navy initially took shape in the wake of Hurricane Katrina. After Katrina hit Louisiana in 2005, the governor at the time, Kathleen Blanco, and other government officials called upon citizens to assist with the numerous rescue efforts taking place across the state. The initial response was roughly 23 vessels. To me, going in and pulling people out of the water was just the right thing to do. It was our responsibility as citizens, Louisianians, said Sarah Roberts, who was part of the original group. More people would join in the following year needed. I remember that. The Cajun Navy claimed to have over 1,000 members. The Cajun Navy sprung into action before FEMA did in 2016. I'm not reading all this. The Cajun Navy uses social media to mobilize and communicate. A Louisiana lawmaker announced a plan to regulate the Navy. They're in Houston. Look, all the people they help, they might do bad stuff, but I mean bad stuff. They might have done bad stuff in the past, but so has everybody else. Navy accepts donations ranging from financial assistance to food. Joe Billiot. That's my ex-married name, Billiot. Scott LA directs rescues with Cajun Navy. I don't know, you guys. They might have done bad things. They might have said bad things, but they're also good people. Okay, just Google. Oh, I just did. I don't know. But when I get off of this live, I'm going to find out. Because I thought it was just one big organization, like they said, with thousands of members. And then they have like branches, I guess you would call it. You know what I mean? Like different locations. And if I don't know, because that guy Brian, they said he was vice president of I guess he thinks his shit don't stink, right? Just because he was rude to you guys. I'm sorry he was rude to you guys, but not all of them are rude like that. I'm sure they really do help, and they help a lot. And just because they're doing this one thing with Sebastian's case, they still help a lot. And even bad people help find people. But I mean, they train. We saw a video of them training. It's not just like somebody going bring a boat and then going, out looking. Like someone actually goes out and plants flags on trees that would be represented as people to go help on their houses. And then the Cajun Navy has to go out and find these flags to save the people. And that's how they do their training. So when they get excited about the flags, it's because they're excited that they, quote unquote, like Nancy says, air quotes, I don't know. If you want to support them, support them. If you don't want to support them, don't support them. I can't tell you what to do. All I can tell you is my opinion. So I hope you hit like, I hope you share and subscribe. And that's all that I have for you on this live. I may be back later with some body cam footage I need to play. I'm not sure. But I hope y'all have a wonderful day. And if I'm wrong, I'm sorry. I'm wrong. But it's just how I feel. And if I am wrong, I'm apologizing right now. So y'all have a wonderful day. And I will see y'all later.